Aaron Broadstetter. How's it going today, man?
I'm good, Alan. Hey, thank you for having me on.
There's a lot of fights that are like coming up. Do you have anyone in particular for MMA that you're really looking forward to?
I think there are a lot of really good ones coming up, and you look down the divisions. They haven't really booked Francis Ngannou versus Lewis yet, but that's a really good one. I'm really excited for the McGregor and Poirier rematch, the trilogy fight. I think that's going to be an interesting one because it's going to determine how the dominoes fall in the lightweight division. I think the lightweight division is the most interesting division in the UFC and has been for some time. So those are the ones that I'm really looking closely at, that I'm eager to see what happens. I love the Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira fight. The idea that Glover Teixeira in his 40s might become the champion after really, kind of chipping away all these years is really cool to see.
To be a really good fighter, you need to have good striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So if you had a chance to make a original fighter with good striking, jiu-jitsu, and wrestling, who would it be? For example, I would pick GSP for wrestling, Masvidal for striking, and jiu-jitsu, Royce Gracie. Who would be your ultimate fighter?
For wrestling, I choose Ben Askren. I always thought that his wrestling got him to become a champion in promotions like Bellator, one championship, just solely based on how good he was as a wrestler. So if you had that in your back pocket and your striking was even a little bit better than Ben's, I think that's a good start. In terms of striking, well, I'm going to build a heavyweight. I'm going to go with Francis Ngannou striking. It might not be the most beautiful striking out there, but in terms of just the sheer power, you can't teach that. So if you have Ben Askren's wrestling and the striking of Francis Ngannou, you're already doing pretty well. And then when it comes to grappling, I would use Charles Oliveira. I think that the way that he's adapted jiu-jitsu to mixed martial arts is the most effective way that anybody has to date. And we see it now with him being the champion in the lightweight division. So that would be my build-a-fighter, so to speak. And I mean, if you can do jiu-jitsu like Charles Oliveira in the heavyweight division, you'll tap everybody out in like seconds. So that's my build-a-fighter is you take all of those traits, you put them into a big heavyweight, and you just go from there.
Wow, this interview with Aaron Broadstetter is going fantastic. But first, let's take a quick commercial break. And after the break, we'll get to the rest of the interview.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
What do you think about Masvidal versus Nick Diaz, avenging his brother's loss for the BMF title? Do you think that would be a good kind of fight, or kind of just let him?
I don't know about this whole Nick Diaz thing. I mean, the last time a guy won a fight was, I think, 10 years ago. I think this year is going to be the 10-year anniversary of his last win.
Oh, damn.
I mean, I hate the idea of putting him up against somebody as good as Masvidal this early. I think you have to see what this guy has to offer. You put him up against one of the older, like a Matt Brown or somebody that's older, and just see what he has left before we start making these fights with him against top guys. I mean, I know that you're going to want to put him against somebody marketable and you want to, make the most of his comeback, but I just think you're putting him in a major position to fail if you're going to put him in there against a guy as good as Masvidal.
Fair enough.
But hey, I mean, if they offer the fight to Masvidal, I think that's a good opportunity for Masvidal. I think that, that's up to the UFC on what they want to do with Nick Diaz. But if they call Masvidal's people and they say, hey, we want you to fight Nick Diaz, I mean, the answer should be yes. That to me is a fight that would get Jorge Masvidal off the couch.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would think that'd be a really good fight. Going back into more of a fantasy kind of thing, what would be your Mount Rushmore of MMA fighters? If you got to pick 4 guys of all time, and etc., like who would you choose to be on your Mount Rushmore?
Okay, if we're just talking just fighters, John Jones, GSP, Khabib, and Anderson Silva, I think would be my 4. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody obvious, but off the top of my head, that would be my Mount Rushmore.
Fair enough. Does Conor McGregor or like Ronda Rousey have anything kind of thing? Do they have any consideration?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what Ronda Rousey did was unbelievable at the time. I think people forget because of those 2 losses that she ended her career on and how she handled those losses. I think people forget just how good she was and what she was doing to everybody. She was must-watch TV. And I mean, I think Conor really helped put the UFC on the map. Like, I think in terms of what he did for the sport, you certainly would consider putting him on Mount Rushmore. And not to mention the way that he beat Jose Aldo. People forget that at the time, Jose Aldo was considered like among the top pound for pound guys in the sport. And he beat him in 13 seconds, right? So, yeah, I mean, I think that if you were going to take anybody that I mentioned off, it would probably be Anderson Silva, maybe Khabib. I don't think Khabib has the greatest resume. I just think that the way that he beat people was so dominant and that undefeated record is very difficult to retire with. My 2 people I would have to have on there are John Jones and GSP. And then everything else is kind of gravy. I think that you can make a short list of 4 or 5 people after them that you could put on.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because those are pretty.
Like even Chuck Liddell, you could mention. I think Chuck Liddell, if you're going to talk about Conor, talk about Chuck Liddell as well, former champion, a guy that really put the UFC on the map as well.
That's also true. Going for the next thing, talking about, because I'm thinking about one guy. I always like watching Donald Cerrone fights. He's unfortunately been on kind of a losing streak. Do you still see him being in the UFC, or you think he'll go to Bellator or like one? Where do you think's next for the Cowboy?
I think he'll do one more fight in the UFC and they'll go back to the drawing board after that. I think if he loses, he'll be done with the UFC. And the UFC will probably release him. He seems like he's been a really good company guy for all these years, and that's something that the UFC would do. But I think that's what we have to see. Let's see how he looks in his next fight. I think Dana White has come out and said he's going to give Cowboy one more fight at 155 pounds, and we'll see how he looks.
But you did a lot. You interviewed everybody from Dana White to GSP to Cormier, etc. Do you have a favorite interview out of all of them? It's like, I know it's not like picking like your favorite kid, but
like a favorite interview subject?
Yeah, favorite. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Dana White for sure. It's not a hard question for me to answer. Like when I'm interviewing Dana, I always try to rise to the occasion. It's I find this to be a real challenge. You have to really know the nuances of interviewing him and trying to get the best out of him on any given day. He's the person that I always will enjoy interviewing the most. I don't even have another answer for you. That's how much I enjoy interviewing him.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or like to plug in for our viewers from the RP show to know about?
Check out the TSN MMA show. It's our podcast for MMA at TSN. And all of our interviews are on tsn.ca/UFC. Ultimate Fighters airing on TSN. All the events air on TSN. So if you're listening to this and you've made it to the end of this interview, you probably know all this stuff. But either way, I'll give it a plug. I appreciate you having me on, Alan. Thank you so much for thinking of me, and I'd be happy to do it again whenever.
Oh, that sounds great, man. Thanks again for doing this interview. It's been quite a pleasure, man. I would like to thank my interview for today, Aaron Broadcenter, for having a great interview. Now it's time for the main event. It is the Rod Pedersen Show. So this is Alan the Intern signing off. Enjoy the show, y'all.
We do have breaking news today, and you're the guy that's behind this. Over to you, Moose.
We're going to Montreal.
Ta-da! How about that?
We are taking our show on the road. Thursday and Friday, we'll be on the air from the Stanley Cup Finals. How cool is that?
Yes, live Thursday, Friday from Montreal, downtown Montreal. in advance of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. We will be there live.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Batten down the hatches and away we go with another edition of the Rod Pedersen Show. You might remember that. That's Ed Whalen, the famous Calgary Flames broadcaster. But most of you that know Ed will know him from his Stampede Wrestling days. But I thought we'd throw a tribute to Ed to start the show here today. And we're going to get into Calgary Flames broadcasting in just a minute. My name's Kelly Rempel. I'm happy to be sitting in the big chair here today. Of course, Rod Pedersen and Darren DuPont enjoying some heat out in Montreal, Quebec. Where would you rather be today if you're a Canadian than sitting in that market? Wow. Good call by those guys. And as they just mentioned, or you heard some of the audio, they're going to be doing the next couple of shows, both tomorrow and Friday, from Montreal, Quebec, embraced in the culture of the Stanley Cup Championships as the Montreal Canadiens will try to snap a one-game losing skid here tonight when they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa. But, of course, they go back for games, I believe it's Friday and Monday in Montreal. So that'll be lots of fun. So tune in tomorrow. But today you're stuck with me. And I got a very, very good friend that's going to be joining me as the co-host in just a minute. But we got to take care of some housekeeping. Today's warm-up presented by Ecol Electric. Let's get to work. And listen live at rodpedersen.com, presented by Crazy Kirby Cazell and the gang over at Suds Car Wash. You want to check them out as well. We talked a little bit about Ed Whalen a few minutes ago, and somebody that's done his fair share of broadcasting over the last few years from the Ed Whalen press box at the Saddle Dome in Calgary is my good friend and the co-host of the show today, the impeccable Peter Labardius joins us from Mississauga, Ontario. Lou, I'm a little fired up. I'm a little fired up this morning.
I'm a lot fired up in what we're hoping to have today, and we understand that they've gone into the bullpen for the Rod Pedersen Show, and I'm not opposed to coming out of the pen. I've done it a lot. That's fine. I don't know if we're going right-handed or left-handed today, but here's what I do know. On the theme that you've begun with, we're going to do all we can to accomplish a couple of things. We're going to be young today. We're going to be positive. We're going to get some work done here today, and it's going to be a ring-a-ding-dong dandy. So stay tuned, because we have some kind of guest list coming at you.
Oh, you got that right. And hopefully, Lou, there's no malfunctions at the junction.
Well,
but you never know. It's live television.
Live
you never know.
Television. It is. And you're already looking so comfortable in that chair. We're going to have some fun today. For those of you who don't know, I think it's important to share a little bit. Kelly and I go back for what's unbelievable. We met all the way back in 1989, and it's an unbelievable story that fortunately he made some better decisions in his career and actually, took some control, made money, runs his own business. But, we got to know one another, pal, a long time ago when you were thinking about getting into this business. And I've always talked about your unbelievable talent and your gifts to entertain. And Kelly decided that he wanted to phone me up at CKCK Radio back in 1989, and hey, can I come intern? I don't want any money. I just want an opportunity. And it built a lifelong friendship, and it's always fun when we can get together to chat. And it's been the first time, I guess, Cal, that we've done any kind of show on air since you and I and Mr. DuPont did pre and post of the 2018 Memorial Cup in that great city of Regina.
Yeah, well, it's the last time that we've done, anything that lasted longer than, like a 10 or a 15-minute segment. I think we've been on the Rod Pedersen Show a few different times, but nothing of this magnitude.
You're right.
We got 2 hours here, and speaking of our hosts, host, you, co-host, our guests, we're going to kick things off in a few minutes with legendary not only junior hockey, but of course, everybody thinks about Theron Flurry. They think about his unbelievable time with the Calgary Flames. I know you know Theron quite well. That's going to be so much fun to talk to him. I want to do a bit of a deep dive into that old school hockey that I know people like to talk about. Then we got Alan Millar.
Too.
Oh, and we're going to get a little passion from him today, I would think. And then the Director of Player Personnel with Hockey Canada's Program of Excellence, another good friend, Alan Millar, is going to pop in after that. And then in hour 2, Mike Babcock, my old boss, back at the Moose Jaw Warrior days. So you got lots of Warrior stuff going on here today. I know you're more of a Pats guy, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. But you remember that rivalry pretty well between the Warriors and Pats back in the day. I can remember one call. I heard you on the other side of the crush can. You were so excited.
Yeah. What a show I put on that particular day. A Chris Constant overtime goal. Now here's a great story. I don't know how you become best friends with the person who does this to you, but I don't know if we've ever shared this publicly. So why not? I know where you're headed. Why not today? Okay. So when I was the voice of the Pats way back in the late 80s and early 90s, which in some ways feels like yesterday, Mr. Rempel and his buddies used to sit about 3 rows in front of me to watch the games when I was doing the game, and would absolutely mimic me and stand up after every Warrior goal and mimic me. Now, I don't know how you go from a guy that you wanted to stab 3 rows below you to one of your favorite people, but that's part of the story as well. So I always have a good time. But anyway, when you talk about that rivalry, and I've seen it from a lot of different angles, and back in the day, it was so fabulous on a Saturday night, generally after a game in Regina on Friday, to go into the crush can with 2,800 to 3,100 people, and place was buzzing, and it's some of my fondest junior hockey memories, even though as a Pats guy, I left that building many a night not very happy, to be frank. And Kelly, as you know, back in those days, it was funny because there'd be some pretty easy Friday night wins for the Pats in Regina, and then Bob Laux Jr. or go on down the list. Somebody would root Scott Thomas, and bless Scotty and all he's been through. But yeah, they'd score 2 in the third to ruin my night.
Yeah, well, it was always 9-2 at the Agrodome on Friday, or 8-1 or 10-2 or something, and then the next night, the Pats would. It was like Groundhog Day. The Pats would come out with a 1 or 2 goal lead, and then, as you would say, as you have said a million times, that run, those fans would start getting behind the Warriors, and you'd hear that, "Go Warriors, go," and all that craziness going on at the Crush Can. And somehow, some way, the most unlikely guy on the whole Warrior roster would get a late couple of goals or something, and the Warriors would win 3-2 or something on the Saturday back at the Moose Jaw Civic Center. Before we go on any further, how about this guy? Braden Point.
Oh.
The old bobblehead. Peter, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Speaking of the former Warrior, and yes, this inevitably with Al Millar, Theron Flurry, and Mike Babcock will take on a bit of a Warrior theme today, although I didn't really think about it that way until I started realizing all the guests. Is there any possible way that you could ever, even despite the fact that Braden Point as a 15-year-old scored 2 overtime goals in the 2012, I believe it was, playoffs?
2012, yes.
Could you possibly have ever thought that this guy could arguably become the most clutch playoff performer in the National Hockey League?
Well, I would say this, Kel, and we shared some of those moments back in 2012. I was on Shaw Television at the time covering the Western Hockey League playoffs for that organization, and Anyone who knows me pretty well, and we'll get into this a little bit more with Alan Millar, is, starting really from 14 or 15 years of age, one of my incredible passions is to, watch young, somewhat elite players at that age and then follow their progression. As you know, Kel, better than anybody, that's a big thing for me. But, when you follow the Western League and hockey as long as I have for a lifetime, and what I watched in those 2012 playoffs, where you talked about the 2 overtime winners, 7 goals, 10 points, a guy who was about $138, soaking wet at the time, but won battles, incredible intelligence. And, it's interesting, on a day that there was breaking news, and we'll get to this a little bit before the show is over, that, Jonathan Toews missed an entire season due to chronic fatigue syndrome. The 33-year-old, you want to talk about clutch, I think maybe as clutch a hockey player as I've ever seen in my lifetime. But, Braden did show me, certainly back in 2012, that nothing should surprise you. And, Cal, I've always said this too. Whether it's Brad Marchand, whether it's Jonathan Toews, I could go on down the list. But those special moments are not for everybody. And, I almost feel, proud every time I watch Braden Point, because I've been watching him since he was a peewee and under 13, pardon me, in Calgary. So I've watched him forever. He's just an awesome young person. He's a great player. If Canada goes to the Olympics in Beijing and the NHLers go, there's just no way he's not going to be there. This guy, in the biggest moments, it just, you and I have kind of coined a phrase. Your word is always, you just text me, you go, point. And my thing going all the way back to 2012, because one night when he scored in Medicine Hat and I was hosting the game, I think I jumped about 6 feet in the air in front of Andy Neal and Grant Wilkins and yelled out, "Oh my God, he did it again."
Did it again. Yeah.
He did it again.
Because you're just not supposed to be able to do that at 15 years old.
No.
You've played with the Calgary Buffaloes all year. You get called in because their season's over. And you step in like you've been there all year. You're 142 pounds, soaking wet. And you just step right in and you're scoring overtime goals in the playoffs. You're right. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised because the guy just won't be denied.
Kelly. But to this extent.
No, I mean it's unbelievable.
It is. He's become one of the best players in the entire league. 3 assists as, we get set for game number 2 of the Stanley Cup final tonight in Tampa Bay. He and Kucherov as dynamic a duo. Don't forget about Andre Palat on the other side of that line, as they're 3 wins away from a second straight Stanley Cup. It's been incredible to watch. And, while we're on this topic, it's funny. There's memories that last for a lifetime. And you were there with me. We went to a practice on a game day during that Warrior playoff run, and we were sitting together, and I was watching Braden, very, very closely because the way he interacted, you could just see the respect of the 19, the Edmondsons, the 2-time World Junior member Quentin Howden. They loved this guy. They knew. I even heard Joel talk the other day about Braden and said, that's when he knew that there was some pretty great things on the horizon for this player. So, yeah, I'll never forget that practice, watching him interact, how they welcomed him. Because, guess what? A lot of times a 15-year-old comes up and, he's got a lot of pomp and circumstance and, Guys aren't ready to buy in right away.
No, he didn't pay his dues. How does he step in and be a top six forward? I've been here all year, and he gets to just step. Well, guess what? If you were scoring, clutch overtime goals in the playoffs, you would be. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. And this is probably a nice segue into talking to Theo in about 5 minutes when we talk to Moose Jaw Warrior and Calgary Flame legend Theron Flurry. But if you think about it, Peter, and I believe this, okay? And some people would say, come on, quit being so dramatic. But what do those two guys have in common? I guarantee you their whole life was spent listening to people that don't know a tenth of what they know, have no business making comments. Guys like you and I, just your average guy, saying, well, he's too small.
Right.
I remember Rob McLaughlin telling me that people laughed at him when he picked Braden Point in the first round with the Warriors at 10 or whatever it was. They said, he's not going to be able to do in the Western League what he can do in Bantam. Yeah, he could run the show in Bantam, but he's tiny and he's not a great skater. And you're going to take him in the first round, and then he goes to junior and he tears it up there. World Junior, played hurt the whole tournament. And then, what happens? Well, who's going to, realistically, is he going to be able to do that at the next level? Because he's so small. And we got about a minute here, Peter, but you can't tell me that a lifetime of listening to this nonsense, it doesn't fuel your fire. It has to.
Oh, of course it does. And again, passion. In the case of Braden, and I give his dad, I know we got to run, a lot of credit because he coached him all the way up. I've spent some time with Grant. He sees the game at a really high level. He's coached a lot of elite junior players in spring camps. But, Braden's smarts, intelligence, the way he knows the game, the way he, even back in 2012, used his body and stick to win battles against way heavier, way larger people. Like I said earlier, the only thing I can say is what an absolute pleasure to watch this young man's journey. And there's lots of wonderful chapters left to be written.
We're just getting heated up, folks. You ain't seen nothing yet. Don't go away. We got Warrior and Calgary Flame legend, NHL hockey legend, Theron Flurry, coming up right after the break here on The Rod Pedersen Show.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop online. UltimateFanZone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. UltimateFanZone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw. Home of everything authentic.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Capital is Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out CapitalFordLincoln.com to see how we roll and to learn about what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's what you get when you choose Capital Ford Lincoln, Regina's trusted Ford Lincoln dealership.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
You know, if I keep doing these shows to fill in for Roddy when he's away in Montreal and Darren on vacation, when some of us are back here working, I'm going to demand my own promo. That's what you do not, Clark. I've got my own. They're telling me that there may be a chance I get my own promo today. That's when you know you've made it in this business, is when you get your own promo. It doesn't matter what they're paying you. Give a guy his own promo and his ego, they'll have to butter my hips to get me through the door. My head will be so big. Game Plus Network, we're all over the United States now, folks. This is not just a Saskatchewan show anymore. Of course, you can listen live at rodpedersen.com. Presented by Suds Car Wash. Kelly Rempel, Peter Labardius. We're going to thoroughly enjoy this next segment. I just know it. Joining us from, I'm assuming, Calgary, Alberta. Moose Jaw Warrior legend, Calgary Flames legend. My favorite player of all time in any sport. The great Theo Fleury joins us. As you can tell, Theo, I didn't need Red Bull or coffee this morning. Having you on the show, I am some fired up.
Well, I appreciate that. It's great to be with you guys. And yeah, what a crazy time we're living in right now.
That's true. Somebody told me yesterday, they said, if you start running out of things to talk to Theo about, just talk about either Justin Trudeau or COVID, and then you could pretty much leave the room. I said, trust me, I don't I don't think we're going to have any trouble filling the segment. We got lots of and
we don't need to go there either.
No. Hey, Theo, good to have you.
Thank you. I'm fully in, man. I'm all in. Pete, I'm all in.
Yeah, well,
I know you.
I don't.
That's why we
don't
love you,
care
because
anymore.
you've always been all in.
I don't care anymore. So.
Well, you must be watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tell you the truth, Theo, I kind of like to do more of a deeper dive into old-time hockey and old school and like yesteryears, because I'm a guy that still listens to Def Leppard, Motley Crue, and that kind of music. So I tend to like to go back in time more than sometimes living in today. Especially with sports and hockey, but I got to get your thoughts so far on the Stanley Cup playoffs. I mean, I'm sure you're watching a little bit. What do you think from what you've seen?
Well, it's the NHL playoffs. Anything can happen, right? And obviously Montreal was given zero chance to, have any impact at all, and they forgot about 31, Carey Price. And, you know, every championship team that I've been on, which is many, you know, our goalie in every case was either the best player or one of the best players on our team. And so, it's been really, you know, I don't know how Vegas loses to Montreal, you know, I don't know how Toronto loses to Montreal, but obviously, you know, the playoffs is all about momentum. And when you lose the momentum, it's really, 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 really hard to get it back. And Montreal, in their first series, were down 3-1. They won game 5, and the rest has been basically history because they haven't given up the momentum since game 1 of the Stanley Cup final.
You know, when I think about, and now we're going straight back in time, but the last couple of years, Theo, and Peter and I talk about this a lot, there's been flashes of yesteryear. I mean, every once in a while, you know, there's a Kachuk or somebody that comes along and kind of reminds you, just kind of, there's that moment of, this is what it was kind of like back in the 80s. And the kids nowadays, they got to go to YouTube to even find something that would even remotely resemble what hockey was like back in the day. When I think of you, of course, I think of being a 12 or 13-year-old kid. And you and I talked about this when we had a moment where we could share back at the alumni game back in 2008. But I remember every night there was fervor, there was atmosphere, there was edge. You guys would play the Regina Pats on a Saturday, and I couldn't even, like, my whole day, if they played on a school night, I couldn't even focus on school. It was that much fun. The Flames, the Oilers, like, it was war. It was literally war. Do you ever watch games now and yell at your TV? Does anybody hate anybody anymore, or do you when you watch today's game and let's be honest, and I'm not trying to bring it downer, but the passion isn't quite what it once was. I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag there. What does somebody like you think about it?
Well, you know, I think there's one guy in all of the history of the Moose Jaw Warriors who doesn't get enough credit. And it's a guy named Mark Mckay. Okay?
Yes.
Mark Mckay was a 20-year-old veteran that came to Moose Jaw the very first year we were there. And we had guys like Mike Keane, Kelly Buckberger, myself. And, you know, Mark was such a mature guy. And he really taught us early on in our young careers what a professional person was supposed to act like, play like, all those things. And you know, he was such a great guy and a great person to bring in that first year in Moose Jaw. And he was such a hard worker. Every night he played and competed at the highest level every single night, which taught us to do the exact same thing. And then you look at all the guys that have gone through Moose Jaw who all have Stanley Cups, who've all been captains, who've all been leaders, and it all started with Mark Mckay.
Interesting. Well, I remember him telling a story, and then I remember Kelly Buckberger telling the same story, and the two stories were exactly the same. So that's when you know the story's right, because both guys tell the exact same story. You guys remember Stewie over at Be Sport? He was fitting you guys for coats or something, and Buckberger showed up about 20 or 25 minutes late. And he walked in, and he was kind of holding things up. And Mark went over to Kelly, and he said, "What happened?" And Kelly just said, "Well, I don't know. I'm late, I guess." He goes, "Well, we're not late here. Like, this guy's given up his evening. He's coming in. He could be home with his family. Every single one of the other 22 guys were here at 7 o'clock. You don't show up at 7:20 just because you kind of think it's something that you want to do. That's not how we do things. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? And Kelly's like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. That's probably the kind of stuff you're talking about, right? Respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he was a professional from day one, you know? Yeah. And I think that the way that he handled himself that first year really set up the whole entire Moose Jaw Warriors organization, where, you know, the guys that came after, you know, should be reminded of, you know, a guy like Mark Mckay, because, you know, he was just a natural born leader. He was very humble. He was very, he was nice to everybody. He was great in the community. And, you know, that's the thing about Moose Jaw, and people don't realize, is Moose Jaw is a very special place with special people, quality people who they basically, you know, we went there as kids and left as men, you know, because, and not only, you know, we were leaders, you know, we became leaders, you know, in the NHL, you know, Kelly and Mike and Odeline, myself, Jim McKenzie, you know, now Braden Point, you know, so, you know, I don't think the Warriors organization gets enough credit for the amount of, you know, really, really quality human beings that they produced that went into the NHL and didn't miss a beat from their time in Moose Jaw, and were able to make that jump very quickly. You know, you look at a guy like Mike Keane, who wasn't even drafted, and, you know, went on to have one of the most incredible careers anybody could possibly want to have as an NHL player. Kelly Buchberger, you know, all those guys. So it was, and we were all together, you know, and you know, the Kevin Harums and the Kurt Lachtons of the world too, and Kent Hayeses, and, you know, all those guys were just really, really great people. And when you have great people, you're going to win.
Troy Edwards, all kinds of good guys. Before I turn Peter loose on you, you said something when you were speaking at the Pats dinner, which is funny because whoever thought Theron Flurry would be a keynote speaker at a Regina Pats dinner about that alumni weekend, you said, you said in front of that packed room, you said something that as a Warrior fan, I was the only one in the room. I wanted to stand up and go, yeah, but I didn't. But you said, you know, and as far as all you Pats fans go, and there's this little murmur in the crowd, you said you could say whatever you want about Moose Jaw and you know, the Deliverance and all this other kind of stuff. But when that building got rocking on a Saturday night at the old Crush Can, I would take that over this Bryant Center, Agrodome, any day of the week. You guys can stick it, or whatever it is that you said. And of course, everybody gave you up. What do you remember about those times? That atmosphere, that electric atmosphere in that building?
Well, it was the time of our lives. You know, we had no responsibility other than the fact to show up and play hockey. We didn't have kids. We didn't have mortgages. We didn't have anything. It was the time of our lives, you know? And that's what I always tell kids now. I go, from the time you strap on the skates until the time you become an adult, this is the time of your life, and enjoy absolutely every single thing about it. Because, you know, when responsibility hits, it's different. You know, it's different. And, you know, yeah, the whole Graham James thing happened at the beginning of my career when I was in Moose Jaw, but it was the people of Moose Jaw that really, you know, were there for me always. They still are there for me. You know, I go back every summer and go to the golf tournament and see all the same people that were there when I played and are part of the booster club and are part of, you know, raising money and all that stuff. And so there was no better place to be on a Saturday night than the Crush Can, you know, playing against the Regina Pats. And, you know, that rivalry set me up for when I got to Calgary and played in the Battle of Alberta, because it was very similar. You know, when you were putting on your equipment, you weren't getting ready to play a hockey game, you were going to war. And the ultimate thing was the W, and you did whatever it took to get that W, because you didn't want the other team to have any upper hand at any point during the season. And, you know, those those games were the funnest to play in. As an athlete, those are the games that you want to play in. And if you don't want to play in those games, you should probably do something else.
Peter?
Theo, right under your name, I see Stanley Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist, 2002, the greatest day of probably my life in a lot of ways. I have to be honest with you. I think about your World Junior Championship in 1988, but I want to start because we're in the middle of the Stanley Cup final. Yeah. You and the Calgary Flames in 1989 still lay claim to one thing. You won the Stanley Cup in Montreal at the Forum. So, now they're at the Bell Center. Where does that take you to when I bring up that phrase?
Well, I think, when you're playing road hockey in Russell, Manitoba, and it's minus 50 out, you're playing in this Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, right? And, I think first and foremost, you dream about getting to the NHL. And then when you get to the NHL, you dream about winning Stanley Cups. And for me, that happened, within 6 months. And, I was probably too young and too naive to really understand the magnitude of what I was about to accomplish with, my team. And, I always go back to quality of people, always quality of people. And, you look at that 1989 Stanley Cup team and the quality of human beings and the quality of people that we had in that dressing room, you can't lose with people like that, and, not only were they great hockey players, but, they were even better people, from Lanny all the way down to, Stu, who made the coffee and folded the towels and did the laundry, and Bearcat and Alcat and, Al McNeil and Coatsy and, everybody. It was just a really, really incredible, special group of people that only comes around, every once in a while. And the unfortunate thing is we didn't win more because we should have, and I think for me, that's the part that doesn't really sit well with me now that I'm retired, was, that we had lots of opportunities after that weren't as successful as the 89 team. But, being a person of Métis descent, my family during that final, half of my family was still cheering for the Montreal Canadiens, and,
how about that?
and to go into, the Forum in Montreal and carry the Stanley Cup around and being that one and only team that has ever done that. That's, just like a cherry on top of the sundae.
Theo, I won't be offended no matter what answer you give. I don't know what your schedule is like. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, would you be willing to stick around for 2 more minutes while we do a break?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay. I got lots of time. Yeah.
Okay, well...
My tea time's not till 3:30, so...
Okay, so we might keep you that long, or at least if I had my choice, I would. Anyway, let's go to a commercial. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. We'll be back with Theo Fleury right after this.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now back to the studio with Rod.
Kelly Rempel and Peter Labardius filling in for the immortal Rod Pedersen as he and Darren Dupont are in Montreal, Quebec, getting ready for what will eventually be Game 3 and 4 of the Stanley Cup Championship. And we are talking now, we're going to jump right back into it. Theo Fleury, hockey legend, joining us at this time. Peter, I don't want to hog all the questions. Why don't you fire away and ask Theo something that's been on your mind? I know there's a couple things you'd like to talk to him about.
Well, I mean, there's lots that I could throw at Theo, and I want to end today on a fairly serious one that obviously, Theo, you would have lots to say. You know, you have made such a difference in your life with all you've gone through, and I think, you know, when it's all said and done, what you've done for other people, the awareness you have created, will probably leave a bigger legacy than what was an amazing hockey career that I enjoyed almost every step of the way. Now, it's not been easy times for the Indigenous community, and I don't think we can finish today without giving you an opportunity to share your thoughts on the atrocities and some of the findings that have gone on in the last several weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, you know, here's the thing. We already knew, right? We already knew about this for a long time, you know. And, you know, I've spent, you know, the last 13 years visiting 420 of the 630 First Nations communities. And you know, the number one topic that we discuss is, you know, the trauma that surrounds the residential school system. And you know, how I see this is, you know, we're presented again with another lesson from the universe, right? That, are we going to finally heal from this, or are we going to continue to slough it off and not deal with it properly? But as a guy who's been on his own path and his own healing journey, what happened in the 420 communities that I visited was the Indigenous people gave me back my life spiritually, because I started to participate in ceremony, using the smudge, using the sweat lodge, using the drum, the pipe, the Sundance, all the very traditional ways of healing in the traditional medicines. And, I really believe in my heart of hearts that the Indigenous people all over the world have the greatest untapped resource of medicine that the world needs to heal, because trauma is at the core, at the base of every single issue we have in society. And unfortunately, we haven't done a great job of creating a safe space in the world to be able to talk about trauma, where I can stand on a stage and say, you know what, I was raped 150 times by my coach. And to say that with no shame, no more guilt. And I'm putting it out there to hopefully help somebody else who's had the same experience as me. And then you look at that child and human trafficking is the most successful business on the planet that makes $150 billion a year, which is $60 billion more than Amazon, which is considered the most successful business on the planet. Is that, and we have the Chicago Blackhawks allegations out there right now. We've had the gymnastics scandal. We've had the Penn State scandal. We've had the Catholic Church scandal. We've had the Hollywood scandal. Like, when are we going to finally acknowledge that, abuse of people is no longer tolerable, and the people that abuse other people need to face consequences. And the finding of the graves is just another example and another sign from the universe that let's deal with this. Finally, once and for all, let's deal with this in the proper way. And what is the proper way? Healing, 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 healing. The planet needs to heal. After what has happened in the last 18 months, it's time to heal. And I'm a perfect example that healing is possible. Healing is possible. If you do the work, healing is possible. And where have I done all of that work? I've done the majority of my work in the Indigenous community with the spiritual leaders, with the medicine men, participating in ceremony, all of these things. And that's why I say it's the greatest untapped resource of medicine. And, we're living in a world where, vaccines are considered, the next step in healing. And what I understand and what I know from learning from the medicine people is that every single cure to every single illness and disease is right out my back door. Everything that we need is right here. And it's not a synthetic version. It's actually a medicine, spiritual medicine, which comes from Mother Earth. That's what I know. And I think that's where we need to get to. Wow. Will we get there? We haven't gotten there in 1,000 years, but the universe keeps putting this lesson in front of us. Abuse, 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 abuse. It's everywhere. And it's happening every second of every minute of every hour of every day. Some little kid is being abused. And there's a 10-year-old girl tonight that's going to be trafficked 10 or 15 times tonight in our province of Alberta. And nobody is talking about it. So when people call me a tinfoil hat guy and a conspiracy theorist and all that, no, I'm a very intelligent, smart guy, and I have my pulse on what the hell is going on in this world. And if we don't stop the abuse, this is only going to get exponentially worse as we go along.
Wow. That's some powerful stuff. Theo, I wish we got to run, but I wish you could be sitting in that chair and watching that comment board with all of the comments coming in. I can't read them all. There's 50 of them. People around here,
ultimately, you know, I figured out a long time ago, 5,763 days ago, I hit my knees in a washroom and I surrendered and I turned my will and my life over to the care of something greater than myself. Okay. And the day that I did that is the day that I started on the greatest journey of my life. It wasn't all that Stanley Cup and all that BS that I went through at the beginning of my life. I am living the purpose. I'm living my true purpose of my life. And everything that happened to me led me to this place where I am today. And, you know, God gave me a voice and I'm going to continue to use it. And I'm going to continue to use it in a very firm, fact-based, way. And like I said, I'm tired. I'm tired right now because I've dealt more with suicidal people in the last 9 or 10 months than I had ever been at any point in my 13 years, which means people are losing hope. And when you lose hope, we lose people. Exponentially, we lose people. And so, we need to sell hope, because hope, when you have hope, you can do amazing things.
Theo, thank you so much for joining us
Theo,
today.
thank you.
I hope you'll come back again. I know you will. You've always been a friend, and you're welcome anytime on this show. And I can't thank you enough for sharing that. And we do have to run here, unfortunately. I could sit here all day, but I don't know what else I can say than just thank you for sharing your thoughts today. Much appreciated.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Theo, you know how we feel about you, buddy. Thank you.
I appreciate. Well, the feeling is mutual always. You know that. So
yeah,
I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the time and, continued success.
You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. Don't turn your channel. We got Al Millar coming up shortly after the break. So powerful stuff here. See you after the break.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Stars, you are dispatched to a scene call. The patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prize is great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Capital is Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership. Whether you're on the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, we got you covered. And when it's time for service work, you can trust our factory-trained technicians who specialize in repairing any make or model. But don't take our word for it. Check out capitalgmc.ca to see how we roll and to learn what other customers are saying about working with us. Your dealership experience should be fun, easy, and transparent. And that's exactly what you'll get when you choose Capital GMC, Regina's trusted GMC Buick Cadillac dealership.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering licensed dining, delivery, and their takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Woo! Kelly Rempel in the big chair today. Rod Pedersen away today. He's in Montreal. They're getting ready for games 3 and 4, which will be Friday and Monday. Rod and Darren DuPont. And so, Kelly Rempel here. I'm in the big chair, and my co-host Peter Labardius joins me from Mississauga, Ontario. I got a shirt here, Lou. They wanted me to show.
Yeah.
Where can we get it? It's
That's
all
good.
backwards. I go right, it goes left. We the North. Get it? We?
Yeah.
Come on, ça va.
I got it.
Come in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kelleriteel, Lou.
Yeah. Well, there's been a few of those and a few come on tap L2s over the years as well. Yeah.
Or me back in the day. Puis-je aller à la salle de bain? Which I think meant, can I go to the washroom? I spent the better part of my grade. Yeah.
One of your greatest performances in that language, if I remember right, happened in Kelowna, British Columbia at a Memorial Cup.
What was that one?
We're not telling that story on the air.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Now I know what you. I thought you. Yeah.
Now you know where I'm going.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. No, I mean nothing bad happened.
Well,
it's all good.
Yeah, but you know,
it's all good.
Peter, what'd you think of that? You know how sometimes
What can you say?
You think you're going in one direction, and all of a sudden the car turns and you end up going somewhere else, but then you kind of sit back and you go, you know what? I'm kind of glad the car turned, because I don't know where you're going to get that anywhere else.
No.
That was about as heartfelt and as appropriate, too, I might add. Whether you agree with Theron or you don't agree with him about certain things, that almost doesn't matter. I don't know how anybody could deny this one. Like, you can agree with his politics, you cannot agree with his politics.
Right.
Peter, in 30 or 45 seconds, how can you argue with one thing that he just said?
Well, I can. And I thought all morning about, going down that road with him, but I thought it was really important. And I'm a big proponent too, is yes, we have an avenue to talk about sport, but when you have a chance to make us all better as people, and I meant it when I said it to him, I think his legacy of what he has done with an unbelievable journey is much greater than what he did as a hockey player. And we heard it in as powerful, meaning from the heart way as you ever could.
And that says a lot when you consider what he did in hockey. So that really puts it in perspective. We're coming back after the break with Hour 2. We have the Director of Player Personnel with Hockey Canada's Program of Excellence, my good friend, Alan Millar, joins us right after the break. Do not go away. Don't leave that dial.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade and Allowance program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-In program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We do have breaking news today, and you're the guy that's behind this. Over to you, Moose.
We're going to Montreal.
Ta-da!
How about that?
We are taking our show on the road. Thursday and Friday, we'll be on the air from the Stanley Cup Finals. How cool is that?
Yes, live Thursday, Friday from Montreal, downtown Montreal, in advance of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. We will be there live.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
What the heck is happening on the Capital Auto Mall and Universal Collision Center? Daily poll question. I know PJ Morris is anxiously anticipating this. My good buddy over at UCC, Universal Collision Center. Here's the question. Which of the big four pro sports trophies is the hardest to win? And the Stanley Cup is blowing everybody away. Basically 2/3 of the votes going to hockey. And nobody else really close. Can you believe that? I mean, I'm not surprised. I probably would have voted for hockey too, but literally, it's not even close. It's a blowout today, folks. Kelly Rempel sitting in Rod Pedersen's chair. Rod and Darren Dupont in Montreal, Quebec. They are soaking in the atmosphere of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Peter Labardius, my good buddy out in Mississauga, Ontario, riding shotgun with me, and we have the pleasure, the honor, I dare say, of having another very good friend of mine, Alan Millar, newly appointed Director of Player Personnel with Hockey Canada's Program of Excellence. Alan, you're on the road today. Where are you?
Hey, boys. Hey, boys, Remps and Lou.
Hi, Al.
Great to see you. I was thinking about you guys the other day when, unfortunately, we heard of Mr. Solinger passing away with Skid Row, and I met Remps at that concert. Vince Neil and I don't know who else.
Well, that's too bad.
I think Vince has gotten in the road.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny, Peter? I'll tell you a funny. We're going to get back to Al in just a moment. I'll tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
So, and where Al's getting to is you and I saw a show with Poison, Vince Neil, and Skid Row at the Molson Amphitheater in Toronto, and you introduced me to Alan that night.
True.
That was way back in the early 2000s. And Al Millar, I think the number now is over 40. But at the time I brought this up to Michael Ball, legendary local football announcer and morning show host on The Wolf here in Regina, at the time about 7 or 8 or 9 years ago, I told Michael, I said, do you know that the general manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors has seen Motley Crue 35 times? He says, what? I said, I'm not kidding you. I said, the general manager of the Moose Jaw Warriors, Al Millar, has seen Motley Crue 35 times. And in typical ballsy fashion, he says, that's almost impossible. He says, Vince Neil hasn't seen Motley Crue 35 times.
I'll tell you what, the night we went to that concert, and, I have no trouble saying this, you are a far larger music fan of that particular genre than I am. What Vince consumed on the stage that night in Toronto, he's had an unbelievable career, but that won't go down as one of his greatest performing nights for sure. The guy never sang a note that made any sense all night long.
Well, I think any of our heavy metal / hard rock / arena rock / heavy metal or, hair band will say that Vince has probably seen better days. Al, we were just talking about Michael Ball when I told him that you'd seen Motley Crue 35 times, and he said, I don't think Vince Neil has seen Motley Crue 35 times.
Let's not be too hard on Vince, okay, boys?
No, we're not going to do that. We're not. We'll get back. We'll circle back to some of this stuff later. But I want to ask you this: Are you and Kelly settled in Calgary? Like, you're? I know you left for Calgary. I don't know where you are today, but you've rolled up your sleeves. You're full on with Program of Excellence now, correct?
Yeah. We got settled in Calgary the first week of June. Took possession of our new house there, and really enjoying it. We're settled. I've really been full at it with Hockey Canada since March 1, and kind of wore two hats for a while, helped the transition with the Warriors and getting into the hub and naming Jason Ripplinger general manager. And we're all settled, and we can't stay away from Moose Jaw, guys. We're on our way to Moose Jaw. My lovely wife Kelly is at the wheel, so I can do your show, and we're heading to Buffalo Pound to spend the weekend with some great friends out there.
Well, I know who you're spending time with out there. At least I have a pretty good idea. And yeah, you've told me before that one of the things you take away from your time in Moose Jaw is all the good people that you met there. And we talked to Theron Flurry in the first hour, and he said that that's what his biggest takeaway is just the people. And I think that when you and I talked back after I think it was 2012 in the playoff run, you told me that you were a little bit blown away with all the signs and the community and how they rallied behind that team that year. Now that you've had a chance to step away from it, when you think back on your time in Moose Jaw, say 20 years from now, what will you likely most take away from living there, being the general manager of that team, the longest serving GM in history? How do you feel about the place?
Well, I love it. Kelly and I really enjoyed our time in Moose Jaw, and you mentioned it, Brems, and you and I have talked about it. We have some incredible friends in the area, and real special people and real special relationships, lifelong friendships that mean a lot to us, and So that will always be special to us, and I can say this with the utmost of confidence. I honestly believe that the Moose Jaw Warriors franchise in a great, smaller community but a unique community is one of the best franchises in the Canadian Hockey League. And it's about the passion, it's about their support. You talk about the run in 2012, you talk about even the excitement around the team in 2018. I remember, driving by the Mad Greek there, and John had the Pats logo with a big X through it. Then he had the Medicine Hat logo with a big X through it, that we knocked those two teams out and we moved on to the conference final against Edmonton. And I'm like, this is awesome. And the red, white, and black, and signage and colors all around the city. It was awesome. I love Moose Jaw. I'll always be a Warrior. And lots of great memories. And I can't wait to watch what Jason Ripplinger and Mark O'Leary do over the next couple of years, because I think there's some exciting times ahead with some real good young players, and I can't wait to get into the rink to do some work for Hockey Canada, but also watch that team grow.
Fire away, Lou.
Al, I can't even imagine, as I see you driving and you talked about having some downtime, is there any way between the World Junior and the bubble and the stoppage and winning a World Under 18 in Texas and changing jobs and changing cities, is there any way for you to put in words what the last 6 or 7 months have been like for you and your wife?
You know what, Lou? It's been exciting. I can tell you that. And I mentioned this along the way, and the presser when I made the decision to move on. I love being, as you two guys know, and I know how passionate you guys are about the CHL and junior hockey, and you guys know I love being a manager in the Canadian Hockey League. It's a great job, and it was only going to take certain opportunities for me to leave Moose Jaw. And so to get this opportunity with Hockey Canada, I've been fortunate to build some great relationships in that organization, being part of the management group the last 3 years. So it's been exciting, Lou. It's certainly been a crazy time. selling a house in Moose Jaw, buying a house in Calgary, moving to a bigger city, in and out of bubbles, in and out of isolation, quarantine, going to Dallas, all those things. But it's been great. I guess I'll just say that, I'm so happy that the board in Moose Jaw promoted Jason Ripplinger. I'm proud of the fact that we were able to develop some people from within, Mark Valeri and Jason Ripplinger, to take over that franchise. I feel great about where they're at, and then being able to transition to what we're doing with Hockey Canada and winning the under-18 Worlds, and now gearing up for our summer camps with under-18, under-20. It's been great. Lots of excitement, real busy, but really enjoying the change and the challenges ahead.
We got an interesting.
Al, I think it was.
No, go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Al. So many special, talented young people in our country, and when I think about whether it's Wright or Bedard and Jagger, and the list goes on and on. How excited are you about the next few years and those types of people? And I'm only scratching the surface. I haven't mentioned an Adam Fantilli or, go on down the list. It looks like a pretty exciting time in our country, which it always is, but these guys might be, franchise changing people at the highest level.
It's exciting. It really is, Lou. And, the process of getting to know these young guys through under-18, bringing a Bedard in as a double underage and getting the opportunity to work with Wright again. I'm looking forward to getting Adam Fantilli to our under-18 camp at the end of July. We're always blessed with depth in our program. We always have difficult decisions and options, but it certainly looks like that there's a wave of young players coming through here that get to the special elite level, and it certainly makes it exciting for us building these national teams as we move along. And Lou, the other thing too is it's one thing to deal with these guys and what they can do on the ice, but it's I look at our experience with Wright at the national junior camp last November, and we made the difficult decision not to keep him. How he handled it, how he got a little pissed off, and how it motivated him. You got to love that kind of stuff. How Connor Bedard went into under-18s as a double underage, and you just saw him get better and better, and you saw what he did when we got to the medal round. These are special guys in terms of their talent, but also in terms of maturity, professionalism, leadership, preparation, focus, and those are intangibles that you need to win world championships as well. So I'm excited about the groups we're working with. We're really looking forward to July and August to bring some under-18 and under-20 players together. So lots of good things to look forward to.
I have to read one comment from the board. How do we know Al's wife is driving? Because his eyes are intensely staring at the road ahead. That's funny stuff. Al, oh, he didn't hear that? Oh, crap. That's too bad. Technical. He would have got a kick out of that. You know how technology is. That's unfortunate. Anyway, I had one funny special thing planned for the end, but we've dropped Al Millar, unfortunately. So technology, folks, that's the way it works. We will take a break, and then we will come back. Lou and I will do a little bit more bantering before at the bottom of the hour we have special guest Mike Babcock joining us here on the Rod Pedersen Show. Don't go away.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Does this look familiar?
Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Ultimate Fan Zone. Shop online. UltimateFanZone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. UltimateFanZone.ca. Or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFC Downtown Moose Jaw. Home of everything authentic.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Kelly Rimple back here at the Rod Pedersen Show, filling in for Rod and Double D. They are in Montreal, Quebec, getting ready for games 3 and 4 of the series. Of course, game 2 goes tonight in Tampa. I don't imagine they're having any fun whatsoever. Peter Labardius riding shotgun with me as the co-host, my longtime friend. And speaking of longtime friends, another gentleman who has spent some time in Montreal back in his McGill University days, the two-time Olympic gold medal winning coach and Stanley Cup champion, my good friend Mike Babcock. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing good, Rams. I thought we were doing radio, you guys. You guys got faces for radio. I can't believe they're letting you on TV like this.
I know. It's somebody
And in some cases, it's been going on for a long, long time. I've always said, Mike, I had a dream once. I wanted to look like a Greek god and had to settle for a damn Greek.
What can you do? Well, good to see you guys.
Good to see you, too. You're in Michigan, correct?
I am, yeah. This is our home here in Michigan. We've never really left. Kids grew up here. We're lucky to be with the Red Wings for 10 years, so the kids kind of grew up here. I had two girls go to the University of Michigan. And so the chance of getting them back here, we talk about baiting our children as they grow up and they move out. You know, I like them to come back and spend some time with you. So we've stayed here in Michigan. We got a good spot here. We enjoyed a lot.
So when does Mike and Renee Babcock jump on a plane and head back to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan to take on your next venture for, as we talked about the other day, for the next 18 or so months? You will be the head coach of the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. I know you're excited about that. When are you coming back this way?
Well, we're going to jump in the truck, my son and I, on August 13th and be there for the 15th. That's the plan. And my wife will show up when she decides, obviously. You know, it's been an interesting decision. We're real excited about it. We're fired up about the recruiting and the process and getting to know everyone. But obviously with COVID, you haven't been able to go in and out as much. So we're just going to arrive there and get up and running.
I know there was a number of orders of business, not least of which was finding your apprentice. I guess the gentleman who's going to be taking over the gig after a couple of years. You're going to be mentoring him over the next few years. There were other orders of business. Could you talk a little bit about your decision and who you picked as the coach? But also, the process also, Mike, wasn't just that. It also involved a lot of conversations via Zoom and whatnot with players coming in, not only recruiting, but current players. And you, as you said in one of the interviews I heard a few weeks ago, doing a lot of listening to what they had to say. What came out of all of that?
Well, I think the first thing, Reps, is when Dave Hardy approached it or came to me with this opportunity, the first thing I did, obviously, is look at the boss, looked at my wife and said, what do you think? She didn't give me the Heisman. So we looked at it. Then what happened is about 3 weeks later, because my son was around, he said to me, when I got together with him, we actually went skiing together. He said, this is something I'm interested in. And so once he told me he was interested, then I got interested. And so he's going to join us on our staff here. He's going to take his MBA and do that. And my wife's mom and dad are 90 and 87, and they're around. My family's around. So it was a big family decision. The second part, obviously, is I had a lot of fun, was at the University of Lethbridge and Red Deer College, so that was a big part of it. But so what we did is we just baby steps. Is once we took the job, we met with the leadership group first via Zoom. Then the second part, we met with all the players that way, and then we tried to meet with each one individually, which we have. And these guys aren't kids; they're men, and they know what they want. And so they've been straightforward with me. It's been very interesting and a lot of fun. Now, obviously, getting your schedule up and running, figuring out what's going on because of COVID, when you can start, when you can't, has been fun to be involved in as well.
Fire away, Peter.
Mike, a couple for you right off the bat is just your thoughts on the National Hockey League playoffs, the series involving Montreal and Tampa, and then twofold, I just want to know how you've enjoyed dabbling a little bit on the television side and what that work has been like for you in the studio.
So, I mean, first, we've really got into the play. It's interesting. I was just talking to an NHL GM this morning here, and I said to him, I've watched more Stanley Cup playoff hockey than I ever have because you were always in it and you watch your series. Now we've basically gone through the process of breaking down each game to set up our structure for the University of Saskatchewan, and so that's been fun. At the same time, you did it because you were working at NBC, which you talked about, and so you got to know what you're talking about when you arrive there, and that was a lot of fun. But as far as the series goes right now, obviously game one, you don't want to put too much in it. Tampa's got a real good hockey club, veteran-laden, proven, unbelievable in net, big, long, skilled on the back, real good depth up front, and make it hard on you physically as well. Montreal, their big four on the back end, I think has been fantastic. They make you pay. That didn't seem to bother Tampa in game one. And then Price is as good as they come. So I think you got the best two goaltenders in the world, and you both got really good D. I thought the kids looked young last game for Montreal, and I thought Tampa was relentless, and they got to the net over and over again and made it hard on Price.
Mike, you've been through this journey. You've won a Stanley Cup. You've been around so many special people, both on and off the ice. in order to win a Stanley Cup, that journey, when you think about maybe one or two things that people don't talk about in allowing you to be successful, what might come to mind there for you?
Well, I think this year's playoffs have been outstanding for anybody who wants to build a hockey club. I mean, you need a D that can flat out play. You need a big D. You need good goaltending. And then skill down the middle doesn't hurt you either, but you need depth and you need grit and the ability to forecheck and get the puck back and spend time in the offensive zone. And the bottom line is you got to keep it out of your own net. And so I think that's the message for everyone. I don't think it's ever changed. You know, I was fortunate enough to get to the Stanley Cup final 3 times. I had good teams 4 times. We had a chance with Detroit when we lost in the quarters to Anaheim. And every one of those journeys, even though they're all different, they're the same. Team defense, depth. You got to play everyone. Everyone on the team's got to be important, hard on the back. Got to get the puck out of your zone and spend time in the offensive zone. And so it's been fun to watch, and it's been, a lot of affirmation of what's going on.
Mike, I just have one last. Sorry, Cal. If I can, I just want to ask one last one. NHL players might go back to the Olympics again. You won a couple of gold medals, 2010, 2014. You won a World Junior going back to Switzerland in '97. For you, how special were those experiences, and would you like to see NHLers be there on a regular basis?
Well, I think the NHL should be there for sure. I think the Olympic Games is the best of the best. You have a chance to represent your country with the best athletes in the world against the best. I think it's as good a moment as you could ever have. And you get to share it with all the other Canadian athletes, or if you're an American, all the other American athletes. So both my experiences were very different. Vancouver, it was in Western Canada, it was in Canada. The chance to go there and to compete for your country. We had a real good team in the end. There was lots of tough moments. The crossover game against the Russians was scary. We got a big win there, giving up the lead against the Americans, I think with 20, I can't remember how many seconds, very short in the game. It was a tough one, but to win gold for Canada was special. And the great thing about the Canadian one, for me anyway, is you got to share it with your family. Your family was there, and all the great things in your life, actually all the things in your life you want to share with people that care about you, and whether it be good or bad, and to share that moment was special. Sochi was different. You got to know the athletes way better. We were all in the village. You spent way more time together, and that was a lot of fun. That was the best team I've ever coached, by far most dominant that I've ever been involved with. But your family wasn't there, so sharing it with them wasn't the same. So they've been special. Anytime I coached Canada 5 times, the World Cup, World Junior, World Championship, and had a lot of success and enjoyed it a lot, and got to meet a lot of good players. It set up recruiting, but it's special. You get to put on the sweater for your country, or you get to sing that national anthem. You only get to sing it when you win. It's pretty special.
I just had a little bit of a trip down memory lane there, Mike. When Peter actually invited me to join him for the Olympics that year in Vancouver, and I remember I was sitting in an Earl's, and all of a sudden I hear this like, it started with 1 clap and then 2 and then 3, and the next thing you know, the restaurant's going crazy, and I turn around, I look behind me, and there's you and Reenie walking out of the Earl's. And I remember I was like a little kid. I ran out in the street. Babs, how you doing? I'm sure I was the last person you expected to see. But when you talked about being with your family, I could tell at that moment how special that was to you. All your kids were there.
Well, we did a real good job at Hockey Canada that year. Is the family program was outstanding. And the time we'd let the guys go home, for the game all the time and spend time with their family. We had family around all the time. We had a special room, Molson House, for them after games, and you got to meet everybody's family. And that was great. It's interesting, Remps, is when you're young and you don't have any kids, it's a little bit different. But now that my kids are 28, 26, 24, they're older, they're adults, everything's about them, period. Is in the end, you know, it doesn't matter how many cups you win and how many gold medals, stuff like that. What matters is your family and being around them and sharing your life with them. And so, I mean, it's nice to do all those other things, but your family's the key. And I'm real blessed that way. I got an unbelievable wife, which usually leads to an unbelievable life, and then spectacular kids.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I want to talk about that. The last thing I want to talk to you about, but before we get there, I would feel remiss if I didn't ask you a little bit about Moose Jaw, because I see the board and filling up with questions. And, you know it didn't end the way that you wanted it to there. It didn't end the way that I wanted it to end for all of us there either. But as I'm older, because you just struck a chord with me when you said what you just said. So I, myself, have 2 children now, and they're doing well. My daughter graduated with honors yesterday, as a matter of fact, from Campbell Collegiate. Met a great girl from Swift Current. Life is great. But I can remember when you and I picked you up at the airport the day that you flew in to do your first press conference, and I'd been just hired that day myself. I was 18 years old. I think you were 29. 4 months later, you're the GM of the team. So there's you at 29. Reaver was about the same age. Ray Bennett came on as an assistant GM. We were all in our 20s except me. I was a kid. The players were older than me, for crying out loud. I thought I knew everything. I knew nothing. But it was a different time. That would never happen now. That might happen in the SJ, but that would never happen in the Western Hockey League, where you got everybody running the team is in their 20s. So when you think back to those times, do you ever, what kind of memories do you take out of that? Because I know it ended bad, but what's your overall remembering your start in the WHL and Moose Jaw and everything that comes along with it? I'm fascinated to get this answer.
Well, the first thing is, Reps, it didn't end bad. We got fired. That's coaching. Move on with it. You know, when I left Red Deer College, I had an unbelievable job at Red Deer College. I was just getting married. And my mom was dying of cancer, and I thought it was kind of a message, come closer to Saskatoon. So I was able to visit my mom before she passed. When I got to Moose Jaw, obviously, it's a great little town. I love the people. Jack Berry's still probably farming. Well, not still, probably is for sure. His kids are farming there. Good friend of mine. You think about the people, Jim Large, real good people. I remember enjoying the community. Like, I had never, ever been booed as a coach or come out and have my car all spilled. Remember, we had the Moose Jaw Warrior logo on the car, and you'd have chocolate milk all over your car. But I thought that was a good initiation program for me to figure out what was going on. But, you know, it was interesting. My wife taught in the community. We loved it. And Allie was born there. And what else can you ask for? The other thing is, you know, I'm a big believer in life. When one thing happens, something else is going to happen next that's going to be positive for you. And I've always believed I could disarm the bomb. Didn't really know where I was going next, but thought it was going to work out. I ended up at the University of Lethbridge and won a national championship there, and it was spectacular. And that's part of the reason that I'm going back to the U of S, is I had so much fun there.
Well, Mike, I got to tell you this, and I'm not just saying this because the two of you are here. I was thinking about this on the drive, that how ironic this is that I wanted Peter to co-host with me, and then you're the first person I asked to be a guest, because I don't normally do this. I'm a financial advisor. I'm not a media guy, but I do enjoy doing it from time to time. The two hardest working people that I have ever worked with, ever, are the two guys that are on this show with me right now. And I remember that, Mike, when you left Moose Jaw and I came to you and I thanked you for what you'd done for me, you said, here's how you can repay me back. Be a good husband, be a good dad, work hard. And I think I've done those things, but it's been a long time since I thanked you for showing me that, because I didn't understand what that meant back in the day. But as I'm older now I get it, and I just wanted to thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It's kind of you to say. Obviously, I've had lots of great experiences, lots of people over the years. I'm a big believer that if you love what you do, you don't have to work hard. You just do what you do. And I've been really blessed with that, is I've got to do what I want my whole life. and really, really enjoyed every second of it, so it didn't feel like work. And I'm sure Pete's exactly the same that way. Is you can't be good at it for a long period of time if you don't love it, because you can't work hard enough to keep yourself separated from the group. So I'm glad to hear it's worked out with the wife and the kids. Rems for you, that's spectacular, because in the end, that's all that really matters. We're pumped to be coming home to Saskatchewan. That'll be great. Look forward to being there, and a little bit of that great Western beer there. That'll be a lot of fun for us there, and hang out with people we know and love. So that'll be good.
I love it. I love the idea you had that the Babcocks, Reeves, and Rempels get together after one of your games, or we get together in the season. I can't wait for that. I'm glad to hear you're skiing, fishing, hunting, and doing all the stuff that you didn't get enough chance to do for the last number of years. It warmed my heart when you told me that you're having the time of your life right now, and I'm looking forward to touching base with you when you come back to Saskatchewan. And I can't thank you enough for coming on the show today, Mike. And again, thanks for your leadership back in the day. Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Good seeing you, Pete.
You bet.
You too, Mike. All the best.
Well, I almost got through that without crying, but that's good. That's nothing wrong with that.
That was a nice moment.
Well, it's the truth. The guy was hard on me, boy, but you know what? When you got a pat on the back from him, there was nothing better. And we'll talk. Tell you what, I'll get into that after the break, because Clark's in my ear. We're way over time. But I want to talk a little bit about my relationship with Mike back in the day. It wasn't always great, but man, do I appreciate it now. You're watching the Rod Pedersen Show. Don't go away.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Stars, you are dispatched to a scene call. The patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Capital GMC, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital GMC, we'll buy it.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Kelly Rempel on the Rod Pedersen Show with my good friend, best friend, Peter Labardius riding shotgun with me. Peter's in Mississauga. Of course, we're here in Regina. Rod and Double D, Darren Dupont in Montreal. They will be doing the show, folks, from Montreal on, tomorrow and Friday as we get ready for Game 3 tonight, 2 tonight in Tampa, but Games 3 and 4 on Friday and Monday in Montreal. Peter, that one snuck up on me. I didn't think that I was going to get emotional talking to Mike Babcock. That's for damn sure. But you know what? Here's the thing. And I'm not going to let it happen to me again today. But here's the thing. And don't get me started on social media and everybody went to school with a guy that as soon as he had a couple of beers, he became the toughest guy in the room. Social media brings out that same sort of quality or lack thereof in people. Everybody's an expert. Everybody's, a tough guy. They got all kinds of courage on Twitter. And, Mike Babcock is not a perfect human being. Then again, neither am I, neither are you, neither is Clark back here, although Clark's probably closer than either one of us to being perfect.
How about that?
But I guess what I'm trying to say is, back in the day when I worked for Mike Babcock, when I was the director of communications and marketing and PR, this is back in the day where you had 4 people on your staff, or it's 5, not 15. We were all young. Mike was in his late 20s. I was in my teens. I wasn't kidding when I told you that the players were older than me. Half the team was older than me. And I was selling tickets and board signs, and I'm not bragging. I'm just stating a fact. And, he was hard on me. And I can remember there was a lot of nights where I went home and I was really pissed off at him. I was thinking what was that all about? Or, I remember it came up to me one day and he said, "You have to be better." And I remember what happened. I won't get into why, but he was right. He wasn't making it up. He wasn't doing it to be mean. I did a good job most of the time, but on this one occasion, I could have put a little bit more effort into it, and things I thought were a priority, I put my focus on, and I shouldn't have. And he let me know about it. And it wasn't always my favorite guy, even though we did have lots of good times, don't get me wrong. But he was hard on me. He was hard on Jamie Reeve. But now that I'm a dad and I'm a husband and I'm a quasi-successful businessman, own a couple of businesses and all that, I look back and I go, I needed that at the time. What I didn't need at the time was for somebody to tell me that everything I was doing was great when it wasn't. And so when I see people pile on him sometimes, it really bothers me because that's not him. I know what he is because I worked for the guy and it wasn't easy. But you know what? He's a good man and his intentions were not bad. I'm sure he'd have a few do-overs in his life and the way he might have handled that situation or that situation. But what would some idiot that's texting, or on Twitter, Mike or Peter, what would they know about the kind of pressure that guy's had on him? I don't care how much money he's made. Doesn't change the pressure situation and everything. In a minute or 90 seconds, I don't know. I like Mike.
Listen, Mike is one of the most driven people that I've ever met in 37 years of doing this. He has incredible work ethic, great conviction, and is a good man. He's a great family man. He cares deeply about what he does and the people that matter most to him in his life. And, you know, can it be too much at times for people? Sure it can. But, you know, Kelly and I could probably talk about this for a whole segment.
Easy.
You know, here's what I would say to you. There is incredible value in people who tell you the truth and care enough about you to tell you things that you don't always want to hear. And I've been a big believer my whole life, even when it's hard, that those are the people that you want to jump into a foxhole with. And I believe that more at my age than I ever have.
Hey, he's a different guy. And like, I remember Bill Peters and you and I talking one time about him, and Bill phoned Mike on the phone and he said, you know, what's going on with my, you know, can you give me some advice or whatever? This is when they were working together. And Mike said, Bill, I have one question for you. Are you the hardest working team in the league yet? Bill said, no. And said, well, that's the problem. When you've solved that, phone me back, and hung up on him. Which is kind of funny, but that's his way of telling Bill, get your guys to work harder or you're not going to win. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We're going to finish this up. You're listening to the Rod Pedersen Show. Peter Labardius, Kelly Rempel. We'll be back right after the break. Don't go away. We still got some good stuff left for you. Come on back.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
At Capital Ford Lincoln, we don't just sell vehicles, we buy them too. You know how we always have such a big inventory with an amazing selection? That's because we buy all makes, all models, and all years. We're going to give you the best price every time. And you don't even have to buy from us. All you have to do is visit us online or in-store, answer a few questions about your vehicle, and we'll get you a great offer. We'll even cut you a check on the same day. So save yourself the hassles of selling privately and sell it to us. Because at Capital Ford Lincoln, we'll buy it.
Stars, you are dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Doing things a little different here today on the Rod Pedersen Show. Rod and Darren DuPont, of course, not here. They are in Montreal, Quebec, getting ready to do shows, tomorrow and Friday. Tell me it wouldn't be a little bit of fun. There'd be some buzz in that city, and there'll be even more buzz if the Habs win tonight in Tampa and tie that series up. Let's go to the comment board here before we get back to Peter Labardius in Mississauga, my friend and co-host today. I can't read them all. Tell you what we'll do. Lots of compliments on the show here today, and I appreciate that. This is not what I do, folks. I'm a financial advisor, but we're having lots of fun today, so I won't read all the names, but thank you very much for your kind words. Tacona Pauly, Jay Johnson, Moose Jaw Warrior. Any recollection of his play? I remember Jay Johnson. It was the first season the Warriors came to Moose Jaw in 84-85, old number 12, I think it was. Gritty, hard-nosed guy, short, stocky guy, used to go up and down the wall just pounding bodies. Brendan Crow sitting here in the Wheat Kings office with former Warrior Grady Manson. Charlie, how are you, my friend?
Old number 7.
Oh, loved Grady. He says Mike is the best coach that he ever had. Junior or a pro, a great mentor to this day. Hockey 2, Hellenbach says, Kelly, let it out and have a good cry. I did. Thank you for bringing that up. Oh, man. Wayne Grolo, thanks for giving us a great show today. Did a great job filling in. Thank you. Craig Smith. All kinds of different people here weighing in. Couple people, Peter. You're always going to get this. Today, I'd say 90% positive, but there's been a couple. Yeah, well, what about Mitch Marner? What about this? Okay, I get it. I'm not saying, I never said Mike Babcock was a perfect human being or never made a mistake. What I'm telling you is there's a pretty good chance that I know him well enough, because I worked for him for 2 years, to say that he was hard, he was tough, but his motivation was not bad. He had everybody that I ever came. I can only speak for myself and my dealings with him. I found him to be a very, very fair and honest guy. What the heck? What more do you want, Peter? We live in a world where there's so many people that aren't unfair and honest, and there's so much BS that I guess we can throw honest people under the bus because they don't go about their business exactly the way we want them to, but I love them. Sorry.
And as you should. He made a huge difference in your life, and that's what life is really all about. And if we all try to pretend that our streets are completely clean, then we're kidding ourselves. We are absolutely kidding ourselves. We all make mistakes. We all disappoint, we all hurt people, and we all get hurt by people. But until you are in someone else's shoes, experiencing what they go through, just take a minute or two to think about some of the comments that get made. But the beauty about sports, and I've done it for a lifetime, is the fact that without opinion and without passion and people that care, we don't have this. So you have to take one with the other.
Jeff Stamps, DM me. No, the Montreal screw job was not a fix and a work. No, trust me, I was there. It was not. That's all. But DM me. We'll talk about it another time. Anyway, we got 30 seconds left. Thanks for your feedback. Can't read them all. This thing just blew up today, Peter.
Yeah, it was on.
Would you be willing to do this? Maybe not for the whole show next time. I don't want to put that on you, but would you come back on Monday? Can we banter a little bit more?
If you want me back for the whole show on Monday, I'd be happy to come back.
Well, of course I want you back. Of course I do. This has been great. I've enjoyed every second of it. You're watching The Rod Pedersen Show with Peter and Kelly. Later.
Great job, Jordan, by the way. I love the job you did on that.